inkling.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to week 4 of some more League of Legends action. Today, we got PVCC versus GCC on the big screen for your viewing pleasure. My name's Cynetic, and tonight, casting with me, I got my good friend over here. Please introduce yourself, my brother.
Hello, my name is Nevermove. I will be co-casting tonight. I'm very looking forward to this match. And it seems like we got an exciting one in store for us this week.
Oh yeah, a real good nail biter. We got PVCC. Been doing pretty good. Currently 2-0 so far in the league. But GCC, I'd argue, has had some pretty tough opponents. They've gone against MCC and CGC D1 and put up one hell of a fight against them. And I expect them to bring that same level of tooth and nail fighting for every inch of the map tonight.
Absolutely. And looking at this draft real quick before we go ahead and get into this match, I want to talk about some of the bans that we've got here. So, first and foremost, Paradise Valley, they went ahead and banned right off the bat Garen, Volibear, and Swain, which are three very beefy, very snowbally champs. If they
Mhm.
get going, they will scale very, very hard into the late game and basically become unkillable. And Wolfentech, who is the mid laner for GCC, is a heavy advocate of the Swain, such as myself. So I believe that is why they wanted to go ahead and get him banned out. But as for Volibear and Garen, again, two very dominant champions that you really don't want to be messing with late game.
Yep. And Mam plays a decent amount of Garrett, and Tizo playing some good Volibear recently. Been picking it up in their normal games, their ranked games. Been really running down the rift with it. So it's just a good set of bans to get rid of. Got to get rid of that comfort. But then on the other side, GCC fires back with Hecarim, Vi, and Fiora playing a lot of respect to some dive champions as well as Fiora's insane split push and 1v1 dueling potential. Just gotta get that right out of there.
Yeah, one thing I do want to note actually is V's Morgana pick on that support. You know, there's a lot of like look at PVCC's comp here. They've got the Mordekaiser, they got the Rammus, they got the Jace. These are champions who want to get all up in your face. And Morgana's going to be the kind of champion they're going to want to have to avoid. She's got that black shield to avoid any spells, and then she's got, of course, the Q. That's going to go ahead and basically stop Mordekaiser, Rammus, and Jace all dead in their tracks, and that'll be opening up a lot of space for Syndra to go ahead and do a ton of damage to all of those champions here. But we do have the Rammus, I believe. I'm not sure if that was a counter pick to the Bel'Veth, but that is basically an extreme counter. You really don't want to have to go up against Rammus as an AD champion in the jungle.
Oh yeah, Rammus beats Bel'Veth early game, and then once he has Thornmail, he beats him the rest of the game. try try punching through with a million attack speed through a Thornmail Rammus. It ain't gonna go well for you. And then with the Mordekaiser, the Morgana pick, Morgana Black Shield is gonna be able to stop some pulls if they're able to get some big pulls. But on the flip side, if Morgana tries to get in the middle with an ult, Mordekaiser's just gonna take her right out. You're coming to the Shadow Realm with me. You're not ulting my entire team today. Nuh-uh.
Yeah, I
So
really
it's
do like that Mordekaiser pick, just being able to completely isolate a lot of the squishies that we see on the side of GCC.
and in the final round, GCC did pay some respect to that top lane knowing that the top lane was going to go a more AP route since their first picks were Seraphine, Lucian, and Jace. Got to get some AP in there. Chose to get rid of Sedude's Silas, making sure that they got to fall back on something they're not too comfortable with. But Mordekaiser still solid, really solid top lane champ, and Sedude's been pretty good on it as well. So we'll see how all of these decisions pan out for them.
Yeah, one thing that was interesting to me was the Jace was left open for Deer Valley. Is if I'm not mistaken, he does take that champion into a lot of ranked games. He has a lot of experience on it. I believe he's in platinum right now, basically almost one tricking Jace, if I'm remembering looking at his op.gg correctly. So a very threatening player, very smart, dominant player in lane. Uh, he's definitely going to be bullying Syndra, who is pretty weak early. So I suppose we're going to see how that's going to go ahead and work out for Paradise Valley here with that Jace um, being left open for them.
Yep. PVCC's got kind of on a timer though, with Jace and Lucian being both very volatile early game champions. If they pull it off, they're going to buy themselves a big window where they can end the game early. But if that window is going to eventually close, and the other team's going to start to outscale Syndra and Jin and Belveth, obviously outscale, their counterparts eventually. But if you give them the time, they're going to take it. So it's going to be up to PVCC to really set the pace of the game and make sure they set it fast.
Yeah, not to mention that recently buffed Maokai. I mean, late game, his cooldowns are coming off. His passive is coming off on like a 5 second cooldown, basically, and he'll be healing constantly. And that Mordekaiser damage over time is going to mean basically nothing to him.
The wise tree, the wise ancient
The
tree,
wise mystical tree,
the
Maokai.
wise
Yeah.
mystical tree.
In space, he's got the astronaut skin there.
It's also a really nice skin too. Spirit Blossom Syndra.
That's right. We do have actually. You know what? We got a lot of newer skins here in this loading screen. While we're here, we've got the astronaut, the Syndra, the new Star Guardian skin for Morgana, the new skin for Seraphine. This is a very
The new
this is
skin
a
for Jace too.
that too actually. The new skin for Jace that just dropped. I'm not a big fan of that skin line. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little much for me.
Yeah, I wasn't too big a fan of the Zenith games either, but they also gave us Strike Paladin and like Lucian and all that recently, so you know what? I'm fine with it.
Riot Games, by
I'll
the way,
take
we
it.
are available for sponsorship if you're looking for people.
Yeah, 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 yeah. My PayPal is it's open. You can uh-oh. Able to
Uh-oh, I think
download
my game may have crashed. I'm not sure about you, but I did have an issue here. Hopefully
unable
this
to download spectator data. Ah, yes.
hopefully we'll be able to reconnect here. Let me go ahead and give that a shot.
Every time. Okay, it looks like it's
There's always something.
yeah, it's always like oh, okay, mine loaded in. So I think you guys will have some luck.
Yep, that's right. I am in. I want to go ahead and check the stream real quick too, just to make sure everybody else is loaded in. Looks like we are still loading. Okay. Just got to give it some time.
Oh, if you just click ahead a little bit in the little bottom bar, it should fix that issue that you're having. Where with the playback, just click a little bit ahead.
All right, it seems like that may have fixed the problem for us.
Yeah. So not
Seems like there was a loading issue
Ali,
for
not
them as
the
well.
speed up button where it has the little bar next to it. You want to click right of that bar with the the red and the blue stacked thing. See what I'm saying? Technical issues, folks.
That's all right.
Once we resolve these, we'll get right back into the game. Just so we'll start right at the very beginning. Oh, there we go. Wonderful. And Ellie, if you could toss up a stream, because I think we've all been desynced now.
Yeah, looks like it.
Seconds until minions spawn.
Would you mind streaming for us on Discord, Ally, so we can see what you're seeing?
Minions have spawned.
Perfect. Here we go. Back into the action.
All right, right back into it. And then last thing, Shift Control Z will unlock the camera. Just roll it out just a tiny bit.
Thankfully, we didn't miss much, but here we go back into the action. Looks like we do have a fairly typical start. I believe that Jace did try to invade there briefly, but nothing really ended up coming of it.
Yep, just trying to get some early damage in, just the usual. Just trying to use that early pressure with the form, just poke them out, see what they can get. But other than that, it looks like, yeah, we're just gonna go, normal jungle full clears, or maybe hopefully, we'll get a juicy mid lane gank pretty soon here. So what do you think of these matchups up here?
Mordekaiser is just really good at taking those early trades, I feel like, with his passive. You can just get it procced off really quickly.
But and it looks like
we're already seeing a trade in the bot lane. Kiki getting the Q onto the Lucian, though. Going to save her and her teammate there. But, whew, that was a close one. Back to what I was saying. Thankfully, no sums burned for either of them. Back to what I was saying. Mordekaiser up there in the top lane should be pretty good at dealing with the Maokai with his damage over time. We already see up here that he's got his passive procced, and Maokai, he doesn't want anything to do with that. He's going to be back up here trying to play as safe as he can, at least until he can scale a tiny bit more and get his passive up ready.
Looking to make some space for his jungler to come up in here, and it looks like they're going to start up a gank onto Subdued. But he's going to try and take the fight to them, try and get a kill here. He's going to be forced to flash out. Subdued is now in danger. Might be able to turn it, though. Both top laners burn flash, but overall, I say that's a pretty good result for both teams. Subdued doesn't die, Bel'Veth gets a flash, and that's kind of hard to do early with Bel'Veth. So that's overall valuable. But in the bot lane, it looks like we might be having first blood here. Lucian, that early game pressure, really gonna lay it on thick there.
And really even with Seraphine's high mana costs there, they were still able to edge out a kill there because of how accurate she was with her skill shots. That was very well done supporting there, giving Lucian the space to go ahead and take the win. But it looks like we're seeing here a mid gank here, the Rammus onto the Syndra. She is going to be able to send him back just in time, scattering the weak, as it were, and now leaving her supposedly safe. But Jace is coming back in here, going to try to get an early kill.
Just get some damage out, maybe. Push her back. Hopefully maybe get a kill with the EQ later on. But yeah, that Scour of the Week was really good. Stopped Rammus from being able to knock her up with the Q and then further taunt her. Your Valley looking for those angles, really trying to pressure them out here.
Yeah, it really seems like we're seeing a lot of heavy trading coming from all three lanes here. It seems like they want to try to get an early lead about as much as they possibly can. But now that Lucian has that first blood, it could impact the way the junglers are going to want to influence the map here.
And with, if you look bot lane, you look at the items, Lucian has a Noon Quiver completed already, whereas Jhin decided to go for a more defensive build. Originally started off with the boots, which I like, have that move speed, able to get you out of there. But now also has the Cole. Just try and maybe go passive and scale it up. But with the wave pushing the way it is, it looks like they might not get what they wanted. gonna have to back up for now.
I'm not sure. I don't know about you, but I feel like with the lane as aggressive as Lucian Seraphine, Lucian especially, I'm not sure if Cull is the right idea here. You do want to be able to react as best you can instead of wanting to farm up. But I suppose we'll see it. Maybe they do plan on playing safer in the late game. Meanwhile, the Rammus gonna come and try to make something happen, but the Bel'Veth is there to help rescue the Syndra, get her out of that sticky situation.
Yeah. And it looks like, oh, the slow from the E is going to keep Mam from taking any more damage there. Mam really low on mana. So dude doesn't have mana, so not really an issue.
Yeah, that is going to be true, especially with Maokai's passive predicated on his abilities being used. And if he doesn't have mana, well, he's got no abilities and therefore no passive proc. Here comes the bot lane trying to make another trade happen. Jhin gets rooted. That's going to bode well for the Lucian here, but Lucian cleanses the Morgana Q.
Going to use Flash, not going to be able to find enough damage. Bel'Veth coming down to the bot side, and now it looks like they are going to be turned on. Seraphine getting rooted, going to use the Exhaust Bunny Summoner spell, going to come out, and it looks like they're going to keep going with this fight. Health bars for the bot side of GCC are very low, and they got a big wave coming at them. It looks like Rammus is also here, so they might be forced to fall back and recoup their losses.
And one thing that was so frustrating, I'm not sure if you caught it, but Jhin did actually root the Seraphine there, but she missed, but the Bel'Veth missed her knockup onto the Seraphine, and maybe they could have had something happen there, but unfortunately, that missed knockup was a missed window of opportunity for them to go ahead and try to make a play.
Yeah, that happens all the time. Someone lands a CC you're not expecting, and then you miss your CC, and then you're just like, well, what do we do? It looks like Subdued and Mam are going to be fighting. No one's really engaged any ultimates here, so they're just sort of just trading out before any bigger engagement comes. Rammus in the bot side, but it looks like Bel'Veth is going to be trying to re-gank Jace here, trying to get some pressure for their mid laner.
Man, this is just what I love about Mordekaiser into melee champions. He's just such a strong presence. Deer Valley, though,
in a bit of danger, able to walk it out.
Flash. Gonna have to burn the flash there, sadly, from the Bel'Veth gank, but she did not have any more dashes. Still probably a good idea to burn the flash, though. Syndra does now have the flash advantage, and here we go again with this Mordekaiser into the melee matchup. He's just got so much sustain, even against a champion as oppressive as Maokai in lane. And the fact that he doesn't have to burn through mana makes it a lot easier for him to keep his sustain up. You know, he never really has to worry about wasting his mana on cooldowns.
See some Skara just looking for W's wherever he can get them, looking to get some roots, but the enemy team are looking for the exact same thing. And it looks like we're gonna see some invading of the jungle from Rammus here.
Yeah, and first drag going to him as well. I actually was not aware that Rammus could so easily solo the dragon there this early on in the game, but I suppose that's what happens when he is incredibly tanky, and with that new buff in his W, I suppose he's been becoming a much more popular pick.
Yeah. His bot lane did help him out at the beginning, but only helped him get down to about half and then left to go back to their wave. Yeah, so they all kind of rotated up right about when Deer Valley was getting ganked. So, good timings. They had plenty of presence. If they needed to move up to Deer Valley, they could have. It's a really strong rotation from PVCC. But an even stronger rotation is that they're really positioning around Rift Herald for GCC here, really wanting to use the abilities. Alessandra, you can look for an ulti, but not quite going to connect enough damage there.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if the Black Shield actually did much to protect Skara there, even though it does give him a spell shield. That all of that damage from Lucian is physical damage, so went completely through the Black Shield and negated it. But thankfully, Skara was able to get out there in time. And I did see GCC initially positioning for the Rift Herald there, but it seems like they aren't really in a position to go ahead and take it at this point. You know, Mam has no TP and is low on mana, and he's sort of has been for the past couple minutes now. So I think Rift Herald might be a lost cause for them at this point, unless they can try to make something happen here and free up Mam from you know, underneath his tower in the top lane.
Yep. And looks like they're going to try and do that with some bot pressure here. Bel'Veth going to try and push back the opponents. They're just going to take a recall out. They got the wave at a good spot for them, so they're just going to say, all right, I needed items anyway. I'm going. I'll see you later. And it looks like Dude is looking for a big fight here. Man, I'm going to be used to all the spells that they can muster.
Yeah, that Maokai Q, I remember they buffed Maokai in a lot of ways recently, but I feel like the Q just sends people back farther now. I mean, that completely sent him away from Mordekaiser's passive range, and just completely to safety. But now, he doesn't really have the mana to deal with this here.
Yep.
Sidhu takes him into his ultimate, the Realm of Death. Ooh, the Maokai tries to survive with his W, but he ends up getting taken down by the Mordekaiser.
Yep. And will bot lane make it in time? Ah, yes, he did make it in time for the cannon. That is worth. That's
all that matters.
All that matters. Listen, if you give up 17 minions, but you get the cannon, it's worth. And that pressure then maybe up. Gonna use the ulti just to poke them back, force the recall to stop.
Whoa!
And get a kill.
That was incredible from Melisandre right there. I mean, he completely went ahead and ran right through them. Poor V doing whatever she could to avoid getting hit by the Lucian, but he still had his dash and his Q, and that went ahead and took care of the problem for him.
Oh, yeah. Said, you want to recall? Cool. How about I help you with that?
Yeah, exactly. You know, you're going to the base anyway. Don't even worry about it. I'll take care of it for you.
Don't worry. Don't even have to wait the 10 seconds. You got it. You got it, boss.
And they are already taking a ton of plating as well. So we're seeing a pretty sizable gold lead already, about 4,000 gold for the side of Paradise Valley here, because they are just taking so many plates at this point. We already had the Mordekaiser winning the trade in the top lane, and with Lucian getting that kill, they are just running away with it here.
And that's what they want. They need to accelerate the pace of the game, and this is exactly what they're doing. Looks like Sejude's fighting 2v1 in the top side. Looks like he's just going to go straight onto Tiso. Ulti going to be coming out from Maokai. But is he going to be able to have enough damage? Yes, he is. He's going to be able to take him down. It was a really close fight, but the Ancient Tree wins.
Yeah, that Bel'Veth knockup really helped them, did a lot of favors. I believe that canceled, I suppose, I think 2 Mordekaiser auto attacks, which actually would have been pretty devastating, seeing the amount of AP that he's already built. So good job on him to go ahead and stop that. We see Rammus trying to make something happen in the top lane. Maybe he could kill Maokai from this range, but it is not likely. He is going to go ahead and take a back off there. But very impressive job by Tiso there to go ahead and help bring Man back in the game. You see he's already down about 20 CS, and that Mordekaiser spacing proving very deadly.
Yep. If there's one thing I've noticed about Tiso over the course of these games is that he very much is a very sacrificial player, which is, you like to see that in a jungler, willing to come and sacrifice their own farm to help a brother out once in a while. So
yeah,
might get them ahead, but hey, if it gets the team ahead, that's all that really matters.
I suppose you're right, but I mean, think about the type of champion Bel'Veth is. You know, Bel'Veth wants to farm. Bel'Veth wants to be able to get those power spikes as quickly as she can in order to be useful late game.
Almost able to get the root off there. Yeah, you're right. So, but I do like the fact that Tiso is trying to help.
True, it is the
get
thought.
back in
Yes.
the game.
You're absolutely right.
It is the thought that counts sometimes. Oh my god. That knockback is so annoying.
Oh yeah, second dragon is back up here. Looks like this is going to be pretty 3-4 Paradise Valley here. They aren't really being contested at this point. I mean, so many GCC players need to farm right now. I mean, they're pretty behind on the CS department. And the Deer Valley, of course, doing such a great job keeping Syndra at bay. I mean, look at, he's got 150 gold bounty already, and he hasn't even done anything.
Yep, all he's done is sat back, farmed, and been where he needed to be when he needed to be there. And like we were saying earlier in the draft, it's very much on PVCC to set the pace of this game, and so far they're doing exactly that, making sure that they get to keep the accelerated game state they want. Not giving them time to farm, not giving them time to scale. They're going to try and close this game out as soon as they can. Blue team taking the first turn, and it looks like they're also going to be trying to take their life. The Seraphine ulti is going to miss, so no kill's going to go over, but the flash is blown, and it looks like Jhin might be a little far up here. With the Rift Herald coming down, they're going to be forced to either give up the turret or maybe even give up their lives here.
Yeah, this
a lot of damage.
Doing such a great job helping his bot lane keep that momentum with this second turret here. They might even go for the inhib turret here as well.
Bel'Veth is around trying to help out our friend here.
Yeah,
not able to get anything, but is able to get a flash. Deer Valley is going to go and flash in, but stopwatch going to keep them alive. Deer Valley is in danger and is going to go down, and then it looks like Seraphine and Mamon are coming in. Wolfentech now on the other side, going to get exhausted. Flash excited, forced to use their own flash. It looks like they're willing to take that trade and walk it back out.
Yeah, that was a fantastic play there from the Syndra and the Bel'Veth there. That was actually worth, believe it or not, the Jace having that 150 gold shutdown. So being able to, for the Syndra to be able to grab that lead is going to be pretty big for GCC if they're able to pull this back at least a little bit. And you are absolutely right when you mentioned that PV really wants to take this into really wants to end this as fast as possible. Because if this does go into the late game, I'm talking like maybe past the 30-minute mark, it could prove fatal to them, because again, we've been seeing all these scaling champions: Maokai, Bel'Veth, Syndra, Jhin. These are all champions that are extremely powerful late game. Whereas a champion like, I believe, I really can't think of it. I guess PV scales as well, but not necessarily as strong as GCC. So they really do want to end this as quickly as possible. So
a lot of their damage potential comes in with the fact that they have a really strong early game mid and bot. Jace and Lucian, both really strong AD threats early, but that's sort of a double-edged sword, because once it goes late, if Ancient Tree builds a Thornmail, most of their damage is going to evaporate when these big team fights come in. It's all comes down to spacing.
With a frontline like Maokai, who's got such good sustain, I can definitely see why they want to get rid of him this quickly. It looks like they're actually opting for a second Rift Herald here again. They've just had so much map and vision control this entire time here. It's really unfortunate for CCC. But I think they're going to try to contest it here. They're really going to try and
contest it. They're going to try and kill Bel'Veth first, just so she can't get the form off. Not quite able to kill it, so it looks like a big team fight is going over here. Looks like it's a pretty PVCC oriented right now. It looks like a big wipe for the entire team. That's going to be a bunch of kills over. 2 double kills going over. Jhin ultimate use the current call, not able to find any members of PVCC. Or wait, did they find Lucian? They did find Lucian.
I believe they did find Lucian, yeah. But that PV did such a great job scattering GCC. I mean, the Mordekaiser ult for starters was able to, yoink. I forgot who it was that he exactly yoinked into the Shadow Realm there, but regardless, it was an extremely...
It was Morgana, and it was a really good play, because what would Morgana have done there? Would have used her ult, and that would have been depressing. So just getting that out of the way and just saying, Morgana, hey, we're hanging out in Brazil tonight. Come on in. Really good play by PVCC.
Yeah, and if you didn't notice as well, the Rammus there was actually the one who got the Rift Herald there. It looks like Bel'Veth did try to go for the steal, and it was a very noble attempt for sure, but the Rammus on the smite, very quick trigger finger there, so kudos to him. And that is going to spell likely another tower for PV here, and that will give them, that will push the gold lead even more in their favor.
Yep. Looks like Alessandrite is just trying to poke out the enemy bot lane wherever he can find them. It looks like they are engaging onto the Syndra. Scatter the Weak going to find 2, but it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you really can't afford to be pushed that far up by yourself. GCC is in a really awkward spot right now where they really can't afford to be isolated or even play past their tier 1 or near their tier 1 turrets.
And look at what's going on topside. They see they knew a bunch of members walked up topside. They have a lot of vision control on the spot side, so they're just gonna take this third drag uncontested. Deer Valley is hanging around, taking the blue buff, and in case anyone wanders in, they're just going to shut them down there. That's 3 drags over. They are on soul point, so the next one is going to really matter, and GCC might be forced into a fight they don't want to take just yet here. Exactly what I believe PVCC is trying to go for.
Yeah, it seems like PV has been very focused on securing these objectives and establishing that map control as early as possible, whereas GCC? Yeah, whereas GCC...
Oh, look at the damage coming out. Alessandra going to be finding 2. PPD going to use the ultimate, but it's not going to get through in time. Taunt going out onto Bel'Veth, but it looks like Alessandra has other plans, trying to take out the Jhin, but not going to be able to find his mark in the top lane. Still back to the same old of 2 beefcakes beating each other up with whatever weapons they got.
Yeah, we saw that Morgana Q get cleansed by the Lucian there. That enabled him to go ahead and get those juicy ult kills. And we really needed that. Here comes the Rammus here with the Rift Herald. Maokai going to use his ult there to try and disengage, get ahead and get himself to safety, which honestly probably was a good thing. There's probably not a good chance he would have been able to get out alive, but here he is still recalling in the brush. Going to opt to go back a little bit further. Again, probably a good idea, as here they are face-checking this push right here. And we are seeing the Rift Herald pushing into the Tier 2 turret as well. So again, this is even more gold here for PV. Their lead has now climbed to nearly 10,000 gold.
Oh yeah, this is the level of aggression they needed to take to this game. And if you look at the CS leads, you got 40 in pretty much every lane but mid. And Wolfentech still ahead in gold. Or not in gold, in CS, and keeping up with levels despite how much pressure they've been trying to throw at mid lane with Rammus. So he's been playing really well this game. He's got that dog in him. That's what I know about Wolfentech. He got that dog in him.
Well, of course it's in the name. How could he not? But one thing I will say though is that GCC, like I mentioned earlier, they've I feel like they tried to go for a lot of trades in lane. I think that may have been what kind of bit them in the behind there. I mean, like you mentioned, the Tizo as the jungler has been very sacrificial. He's been trying to give up a lot of his own self to support his laners. But at the end of the day, I feel like what really matters is being able to secure these objectives for your team to be able to put yourself in that position. Here we go, Lucian.
And it looks like the fair and balanced champion damage is back at it again in the mid lane.
That's right. Well,
yes.
5-1 Lucian. What can you expect? It looks like they're going to continue pushing their lead here as well.
And I'm going to try and take on Memon here. Going to be doing a lot of damage and not really trading back. He's just here to hold the wave and chill out while his team does some stuff mid, does some wacky stuff mid, and Subdued going down to the bot lane, getting some real big pressure there. And it looks like Rammus might be rotating to meet them. It looks like everyone's coming mid. It's going to be a Super Smash Bros. Style event. Everyone is going to be here.
Yeah, it seems like PV is looking to close this one out really soon with all of them starting to group up in the mid lane. Here comes the Maokai ult, going to try to make something happen. Could they be targeting the Seraphine?
Big
That's
flash.
Right. Big Velvet knock-up.
Able to get onto Seraphine, but Seraphine's able to get their ulti off. It looks like man might be in a bit of trouble there. Alessandra going to be cutting it out, going to be using the Gale Force, the E, and everything to get out. Cleansing some... Oh my god, it was over so quickly. Didn't even have enough time to process.
Yeah, if you blink, it was missing. If you're in the chat right now and you blinked, I'm sorry to say you must have missed that massacre there, but a fantastic ult there by the Memo on the Rammus. He went ahead and knocked up the Bel'Veth after she knocked up two of his teammates, and that was able to disrupt her at least a little bit, enough to get her killed. And here comes the triple knockup real quick, but then the game is ended. That is going to be game one in Paradise Valley's favor.
Yeah, it was a really beautiful engage on the side of GCC, but the gold lead was just too much to overcome at that point. They went for it. They had them where they wanted them, but just not enough damage to execute it. So,
one thing that's pretty crazy I've noticed about PV, just from having played against them the other week, they are very versatile with their draft. I mean, you could ban literally anybody against them, and they will still find a way to find a comfort pick, or at least a champion they are very dominant on, and that is really going to be what helps them as well. You could ban out every single one of them. I wish you could ban more than 5 champs, but unfortunately that's not the case. You can't really do that. So luckily they all have champ pools that are wide enough for them to go ahead and bring basically anything onto the Rift and do well with it.
yeah, they've been working a lot on the draft side of things, really wanting to try and keep draft in their favor. Widening their champ pools, pretty much adding a new champ each week if they can, to really help strengthen their overall ability. So, and it looks like so far it's been paying off. So, it appears. So with the end of game 1, we'll be right back as soon as we get into draft for game 2. So stay tuned, and thank y'all for watching. Alright, and welcome back to Game 2 of Week 4. This is where it gets spicy. Both teams have had a chance to feel each other out and develop some new strategies for dealing with each other, and we see GCC has essentially decided we don't want to play against the team we played against last time, so no Lucian, no Jace, no Rammus. Get it out of here.
I know.
We don't want it.
I noticed that right off the bat. They really don't want to have to deal with that early game Lucian or that Rammus' tankiness or that Jace's poke. They are completely done. They decided, you know what, we are done. But we do see PV here sticking with the Garen, Volley, and Swain bans. Probably going to be for the best. I can't really see why they wouldn't want to keep those bans out of the hands of GCC. Again, those are all very strong Snowbally champions. So probably going to be the better choice. But one thing that is interesting, though, actually, you know what? I'm not going to spoil it. We see the Lulu pick. I'm not going to spoil it.
Oh yeah, and then it looks like they banned out Camille. They let Fiora through. They were ready to play one or the other into Ornn. It looks like they were prepping for that. And then they also banned out Ahri to get rid of some possible mid lane shenanigans, just in case of all of that. So we got Fiora, Hecarim, Gangplank, and then it looks like it's Brand Yuumi bot, which I didn't expect. I expected it to be Brand mid maybe, and then an ADC. But we got a whole lot of wacky stuff happening this game. We got Lulu mid against Gangplank mid. We got Brand Yuumi versus Renata Caitlyn. Ornn versus Fiora is pretty standard. Hecarim versus Grey is pretty standard. But what is happening in the bot half of the map? I don't...
You know, I am definitely ready to see the Brand AP carry into the Caitlyn and Renata. I mean, I personally am a big fan of AP carries. I've got the Swain, I've got the Heimer, I've got the Vel'Koz. All right, sometimes I even bust out the Brand. Brand is surprisingly really strong as an AP carry, especially with an enchanter like Yuumi to keep his sustain up there. He's got his own peel with his EQ combo, his stun. Into Caitlyn, though, is going to be a little interesting. I mean, Brand is very notorious for having extremely good range with his empowered E on enemies set on fire by his passive there. But Caitlyn and Renata, I'm not quite sure how they're going to be able to respond to that. That is also a lot of CC, and Brand does not like to get CC'd. So
Yes.
Hopefully they'll be able to respond to that. But apparently, if you haven't noticed by now, we are seeing the Lulu mid pick. Sai filled me in a little bit earlier that Deer Valley is actually a support player as well. So he does normally play Jace, but I guess he does whip out the Lulu when necessary here. But into the Gangplank, who's a very strong lane bully early on, I'm not sure how he's going to be able to respond to it. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, we've got the Fiora, surprisingly pretty, not surprisingly, but it is a pretty great pick into the Ornn. I mean, Ornn's CC is all very slow and telegraphed, and that'll be perfect for Fiora to go ahead and parry, follow up with some vital hits there, and then of course we've got the Hecarim Yuumi late game, which, good God, that is going to be a nightmare if PV does not do something about that.
Yep, and it looks like, with Ornn's kind of just going to sit back and chill for Fiora, or while Fiora fights him. It's just going to be a weak side William game and Graves is going to be mainly focusing on trying to get a mid to bot pretty strong up here. On the side of PVCC, this is what we like to call a protect the princess comp. Caitlyn, this game is the princess. If Caitlyn dies at any point, you will lose the team fight no matter what. But on the other hand, if Caitlyn lives for longer than 10 seconds, you will win the team fight. So,
yeah, well, PVCC does seem to be fairly coordinated here, and one thing I do see a lot of teams struggle with is being able to peel for their AD carries here. But I mean, when you've got two extremely strong shield champions like Lulu and Renata, plus with Renata's W to keep her alive if something does go haywire, I mean, I really don't see PVCC having too much trouble keeping Caitlyn alive here.
double enchanter plus Ornn, going to be able to keep Caitlyn alive really easily. Graves going to be able to threaten others on the side, just so that they have some damage coming through. The only issue with the draft that I'm seeing, not a whole lot of AP coming out from the side of PVCC. Yeah, either side. Bigger issue for GCC because Ornn is very tanky Fiora does get some tanky items in it, and Gangplank and Hecarim can opt for the plated steel caps, but none of these guys really build that heavily like armor situated items.
Well,
Hecarim
we
might,
see. I'm fairly confident that we'll see Death Stance on both Hecarim and the Fiora here this game, just because they don't want to have to deal with the
yeah,
Graves and the Caitlyn. Aside from that, though, you're right. I mean, for Gangplank and Brand, I'm pretty sure it's going to be uh, very devastating for them. I mean, if I were Brand, I definitely want to get a Seekers as early as possible, just so that when the Graves does come down to gank me, I am going to be fine here. But
yeah,
plus, you also got to remember Graves. They're going to want to keep him alive here, as he is going to be. I'm sorry, not, did I say Graves? I meant Brand. You're going to want to keep the Brand alive here. Brand is going to be extremely vital for taking care of the Graves, who's going to be stacking a ton of armor, and Ornn, who again will be stacking a ton of armor and also going to be building very tanky. You've got Brand who does percent health damage. That's going to be really helpful against the Ornn and the Graves here. So
yep. And it
while
looks like both AD carries opted for Ghost, just needing that extra positional playmaking potential there. With
yeah,
the oh my god, it worked for once. Oh my god,
I
that's
know,
insane.
right? Can you believe it? Production curse. We didn't get screwed over this time. That's amazing. One thing, ooh, you know what? I just noticed this. So Yuumi is actually going to be running the Ignite heal instead of the typical Ignite and then funny exhaust. I'm
Yes.
assuming that's just to make up for Brand's lack of sustain, lack of mobility, and just, and I think that is going to be pretty helpful for them
It might be
overall.
pretty helpful, but at the same time, it could be a really detrimental part because if Yumi was to have exhaust, their main damage threat, which is the Caitlyn, once they get exhausted, that team has no damage for the next like 6 seconds. So, at the
That is
same,
true.
it is a double-edged sword. They might be able to get through the laning phase, but if they ever get into a fight where they need Caitlyn to lose damage, they are not going to be able to really have that on command uh stuff
Yeah, I
at the
suppose you're
ready.
right. But I mean, you know what they say: the best form of CC is death. And if the Hecarim is able to dive onto the backline there and quickly take care of the Caitlyn, or at the very least distract the backline, that should be good enough for the Brand to go in and do some damage. And look at that, a very powerful W coming out right off the bat onto that Lulu. That took off what, like a fifth of her HP or something. That was a very
Oh yeah,
powerful
just about.
W.
Ali, could you please put the scoreboard thing up if you wouldn't mind? But yeah, it looks like we are seeing both sides starting red, and it looks like it looks like we're gonna see some cheese in the bot side here. Brand is gonna walk straight into it. They're gonna take a lot of damage here. Gonna be forced to flash immediately.
Yeah, that was
Big
a nice flash.
big flash, and they did take a little bit of damage, but because that E start, which was really really smart from Renata, the shield ate most of it, and they were able to pump out a ton of damage early on. So yeah, now Yumi's back down to like half health or half mana. My apologies.
Yeah, Brand is going to be forced to use up his potion there. That's going to be really tough for him in this later on in this laning phase. But so far, it doesn't seem to have affected him too badly.
And it looks like that the supports are just trading back and forth. Yumi is getting the better of it though, and it looks like mid lane Gangplank is losing to Lulu, which is not a sentence I thought I'd ever say, but here we are.
Hey, you know what? A lot of people underestimate Lulu's early damage with those auto attacks, you know, and then I believe it's Pix there that empowers her auto attack there. There we go. See you right there. That poke does a deceptive amount of damage, and I feel like Wolf and Tech here is starting to pay the price. Here comes the first gank right off the bat. Tizo onto the
Oh,
Ornn.
really good W to stop the knockback there. Really good play by the dude there to just keep himself alive. Is forced to burn Flash. For no summoner spell trade there. So it looks like we're just chilling out. Both sides are signaling where everybody is, trying to make sure no one gets caught unawares by one of the junglers, and it looks like they're just going to be trading crabs here. A little bit of trading in the top side. A lot of damage.
Wow.
The cat gets caught in the trap. Oh my god, he's a psychopath.
Yeah, that was a fantastic combo there from the Renata and the Caitlyn there.
Yep.
Very well done. Great coordination. We're able to catch out the Yuumi, unfortunately.
Yep.
Poor kitty cat. But that's what happens when you get a little too curious.
Yep. Handshake with the traps is really, really good. Just being able to say, okay, I got you, and yeah, now you're coming into the Caitlyn trap, and you're going to take like 90% of your health bar. Stun not going to be able to find its mark, and so Subdued is just going to do a little bit of damage there. Knock him back.
Yeah, Ornn is doing surprisingly well into this Fiora matchup. You know, usually Fiora is just absolutely devastating for a lot of melee champions. But Saidu doing a very good job just kind of keeping his distance, and unfortunately bad vital RNG there, but you know, he's doing what he can.
Yeah, and it looks like Hecarim is coming in for a fight here. Deer Valley is going to try and kite it back. He is 2 levels up and he is using heal pots, and he is going to be able to get out without having to really commit all that much. Going to just poke out his opponent there. And this way, he's in a really good spot for Ornn. He is keeping it kind of close near his turret without letting it push too far one way or the other. So he is able to just sort of keep that farming without having to trade too much of his own life bar for it. Oh my god. The aggressive Lulu attack.
Ooh.
And it looks like... Oh, bad vital RNG might keep Subdued alive again.
Yeah, but now Mam is going to have to pay the price. Here comes the Graves. There was a trade actually in the mid lane between the Gangplank and the Lulu here.
Trading 1 for 1 there. Mam is going to take some damage, but is going to get out in the end.
That was a fantastic outplay by Mam on Fiora there, going ahead and escaping. It definitely seemed like his fate was sealed, but Sided was definitely way too frail to help Graves contest there, and luckily Mam was able to get out of that alive. Meanwhile, we've got, this time, GCC on the drag here.
Yep,
so,
and it looks like they've been found out. Damage going to be found onto the jungler here. They are going to be forced to be pushed back off of it. And it looks like Skara is going to be paying for it, maybe with his life, not going to be able to quite find the damage. Gonna reset the drag. Are we going to find somebody here? Nope. Nope.
Yeah, surprisingly, no casualties on the GCC side there, and PV not opting to go for the drag instead, interestingly enough. But we do see Wolf.
Lulu taking a lot of damage, ulti gonna be used and burned down. Yeah, now that's more so how I thought this lane would go.
Yeah, that is definitely the GP mid there in a nutshell. You're just getting completely chipped down over time and then just getting completely mauled once GP hits his level 6. Love to see that from the Gangplank lane. And Lulu, I mean, I feel like with Lulu mid, I really haven't seen too much of it, but I reckon you do need a lot of support from your jungler. But here comes the Graves. Speaking of that, he's going to try to catch this wave a little bit and try to take some of the gold that was lost. Meanwhile, though, Yuumi and Brand gonna try to make something happen here, trying to catch this massive wave bot lane. And man, one thing that really does kind of bother me about Brand, I feel like, just as a champion in general, is it's just so important that you land that Q, that stun. That's just such an important part of getting your passive procs off. And if you can't do that, well, I mean, you're basically just a worse Xerath.
That's what they say in the champion description too. Worse Xerath.
But when he does get his passive procs, it is a devastating amount of damage, even this early. And especially with the Yuumi adaptive bonuses, can be super scary. But it seems like PV has been doing a great job adapting.
Yep. And, you know, we got the bot lane ahead in farm, ahead in gold kills. And they have really been putting the pressure on, forcing the jungler, who was really, really, like, should have been a really easy drag, but the fact that bot and mid roamed at the time they did made it impossible at that point. So you see a lot of map control. It looks like both sides are trading buffs.
Yeah, a lot of counter jungle action on both sides here.
At this point, it's not even their jungle anymore. It's just like, hey, I want blue side jungle. Okay, cool, I'll take red side jungle. And it looks like there's going to be a flank here. Mammon and Grigsby coming in on the side. Going to get a big stun there. And he's going to try and keep himself alive, but he's getting too far away from his own turret. He's going to be locked up and shot down. UQV going to be looking for damage onto the Renata, but not going to be quite able to find any. And yeah, in the mid lane, Lulu kills Kills
somehow
Gangplank.
getting another kill there. You know, one thing that's kind of bothering me is GP has this ignite pressure, but he's still not using it to his full potential. I mean, if I were him, I mean, I'm not one to tell people how to play, but I just absolutely love the Q spam that GP can do in lane. And I feel like it could be extremely threatening on the Lulu, especially with that first strike bonus damage. But this Lulu, though, very smart laning that we've seen so far.
Oh yeah. All that mid training that Deer Valley has been doing for wave management, plus his years of experience on Lulu, has kind of translated to something of just a very weird pocket pick monster that they can bust out every once in a while. And it looks like the bot lane is going to find a lot of damage, but not going to quite be able to get enough. It looks like that QQB might be able to get 2 kills here. 2 kills going over to Yuumi.
The Yuumi is fed, guys. That's it. Game over. Although, that being said, Yuumi does look like she's building a lost chapter here, which means we are probably going to be seeing the AP Yuumi with the Ludens here. Brand pinging the Yuumi heal several times here, so it seems like he's a bit frustrated that she could have gotten the heal off, but unfortunately did not go off in time here for the Brand to survive.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, we do see...
Oh, red side going to steal it away, and it looks like they're going to be trying to re-engage. And it looks like, oh! Tizo Dragon dove straight back into their death. Wolfentech going to look for a fight. Alessandra is chasing them down, going to be able to find a kill there. And it looks like they're chasing the cat down now. Yeah, you got AP, but can you run away from me? No, you can't.
Absolutely not.
3 kills there, going over to Caitlyn. And the dragon, too.
You know what, actually? I'm just noticing now, Hecarim didn't even have his upgraded smite, and that's what let Memon get in there so easily to get the steal there.
Oh, yeah.
It just seems so effortless. I mean, Graves there with his chilling smite, that was 900 more damage. He stole it at probably when the dragon was about, you know, about 900 health. Exactly. So he just walked up and stole it. And very
not much you
impressive.
can do there. They didn't have any burst damage left in the tank that they could really use. And it looks like Hecarim is a little mad that Caitlyn took his life, so it looks like he's looking for some blood in the bot lane. Meanwhile, Sadude pushing up, looking for some fights, trying to be a bit aggressive, using his W to trade out some damage. Not going to be able to... Bam, not going to use the... W in time, but is forced to flash out and use ulti, trying to fight it back. And still pushing up pretty far, trying to keep that CS.
Yeah, I'm really liking Ornn's, the way this Ornn has been laning. I mean, he's been doing such a great job, you know, just managing the waves here and just kind of keeping this Fiora at bay. With that early Bramble too, really helping, really hurting, I should say, Fiora's sustain. In the lane here, and Graves being able to come up from the Rift Herald. That's exactly what you want from your jungler. You know, don't just brainlessly farm objectives or clear farm your camps. I really just need you to come up here and help me, man. And it's a good thing they are communicating enough to go ahead and do that. Meanwhile, here comes the Yuumi are just barely out of range, though.
Able to find it, and that's good. That Alessandra able to get out of there in time. That was, if that caught him rooted, that would have been a kill right then and there.
I gotta say, though, I feel like Brand, even though... Oh, wow, I was gonna say Brand doesn't even have boots, whereas Caitlyn's already on her tier 2s. I was gonna say the ghost from the Brand probably would have done it, but then again, we do see Caitlyn does still have her flash up, so maybe it was for the better.
Still does have flash up, still has Gale Force up, had a lot of movement potential along with, yeah, just flash, Gale Force, E. That's a lot of ways to escape, and it looks like the support is here trying to make some stuff happen in the top side there. Gonna handshake the Hecarim away, just say, alright, okay, I see you. We're just gonna walk it straight back here.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mam was in too far of a position to go ahead and do much about that, sadly. But noble effort from the Hecarim to try and get something done. We are still just going to be seeing PV here, just very comfortable with this lead here. They just really want to keep farming up. And
and it looks like TSM Star is looking for some damage. Ult gonna come down from GP, and it looks like that there's going to be enough damage coming in from the Graves. The Ignite might keep them down, though. One more kill going over to the Yuumi. The shutdown going over to that Yuumi. That cat is hungry.
Yeah, that cat is getting really fed right now, and it's really going to be scary. I am not going to lie, the Yuumi Luden's Q is actually a little scary, so maybe maybe it could turn the tide of a fight, who knows. But at the end of the day, it definitely seems like the bot lane here is certainly... Ooh,
yep. So dude, using that W interaction once again, just to make these ganks that much more harder for Hecarim. Hecarim's not been able to get off a lot of successful ganks here. He's down farm and is down kills. But the game is still pretty close. Game is still pretty close. I mean, you got GP is scaling up. He did just get a Caulfield, a Serrated Dirk, and it looks like they are planning on going the plated steel caps just to survive for a bit longer. And they're just going to take it down mid. The two supports in their Graves going down mid with Shelly.
Yeah, being able to get that first turret blood, that's going to give them a bunch of extra gold here, bolstering their...
Are they going to try to go for another one? Wolfentech endangered there. It's like Tito Dragon is going in onto Mamon there. TP going to be coming down from the Fiora. That TP coming down is going to make it so that they can disengage here. But now Alessandrite knows that Skara is all alone, and Skara just missed their ability, so now Skara is going to have their life taken. And Tizo, being spotted out on the ward, isn't going to be able to come in and try and kill the Caitlyn here. Caitlyn might be a little bit far up there. Playing a little aggressive, going to be able to dodge the Yuumi Q there. And going to be looking for a lot of damage.
Wow!
And yes, Ornn TP coming in as well. Really good play by Alessandra right there to keep themselves alive and get the kill. Wolfentech versus Deer Valley. Who will win this time? It looks like Wolfentech Flash Q has the damage.
Yeah, as if that Ornn TP wasn't enough of a deterrent. That Caitlyn just being so fed with the Zeal, the Gale Force. Oh my goodness, I could totally see the Hecarim just getting completely thrashed there, even with the Yuumi attached to him there.
Oh yeah.
My goodness.
And using the E to dodge the Yuumi Q just to keep that spacing a little bit further. Really, really helpful.
Yeah, one thing we're definitely seeing here is there's just so many wards being placed here by PV. They have so much map control. They're able to see all of these ganks coming. I mean, when GCC tries to group up, what ends up happening is PV's ready for it. You know, they have an answer. They always have an answer to these ganks. Meanwhile, GP gonna try to do something here. Knocks up the gangplank. Gonna go ahead and take care of him here. Comes Renata too.
Grigsby is here, so Bunny Exhaust gonna come on out. Ultimate going to come down from Wolfentech, so no ulti here. And it looks like they're going to just walk it back out. Deer Valley facing off against Mam in the top lane now. They're just swapping assignments. And Alessandrite, uh-oh. The Caitlyn's here. Ooh, big tilt over Peacemaker into a headshot. Really, really strong. Really, 8, 2, and 4. This Caitlyn, very, very fed right now.
Yeah, and that gold lead continues to climb for PVCC here. I mean, here they are taking another tier 2 tower, and it seems like they aren't really concerned with setting up the objectives at this point. I mean, we've just got...
And Deer Valley going to be able to force out 2 ults and trade for his flash and ult. Also getting his life taken from him, but it looks like in the bot side, gonna stop the recall. So nice little Q, tossing it out.
Okay.
What is happening here?
I'm not sure. I feel like at this point we really just need Brand to get his item so that he can go ahead and start dealing some damage here in these team fights. I mean, those team fights is where Brand is really going to shine. In fact, a lot of GCC's comp is centered around being useful in these team fights. And we've got the Yuumi R to go ahead and CC multiple people. We've got the Brand R as well to just deal a ton of AoE damage. The Hecarim, of course, having that fantastic team fight ultimate. Plus his W giving a lot of sustain. And then the Fiora, well, that's more so for catching out certain players, just sort of singling out the vulnerable ones who are getting caught.
Yeah.
But we haven't really been seeing them moving as a unit as much as they should be here, just given their team comp. Meanwhile, GCC just kind of roaming around here, again, getting that vision, that map control, and really limiting GCC's options here. Now with Shelly coming up, they're going to go ahead and get that relatively uncontested. And that should be another couple of tier 2 towers for them as well.
PV going to be taking Shelly. Probably will be sending that one down top. Try and get a double charge off with that. And it looks like all of them are going to find Ma'am. Get out of there, Fiora. You are in danger. The cavalry is in fact here. Maman on the flank, going to be doing some damage, being able to force them back. Wolfentech and Skara coming out. Maman in a bit of danger, could be able to get out with the blast cone, but they do know Tizo and Yumi are down bot side, so they are going to be willing to take this one 4v3. Big damage going to be coming out. Alexandra going to be found by the ultimate. Wolfentech going to go berserk, and it looks like they're just going to kite this one back out. A lot of ultis used by both sides, but...
Yeah, look at all of that damage. Look at PV's health. They are completely thrashed. That was just from the Brand ult, I believe, and the GP ult as well. Oh, no, not even from the GP ult. My goodness. That is completely insane.
Yep. Big Brand ulti cooldown is down, so now that that's down, PV has a little bit of free roam to fight here. And Wolfentech going to be taking the blue buff, keep himself in lane longer. Going to try to extend this GP lead with his Essence Reaver and his Duskblade. But it looks like PV is charging it down.
The fact that Gangplank is on 2 items could bode well for GCC here, but again, they really do have to worry about having the... Whoa! That was fantastic play there. Great flash from Grimsleeve to get out.
Yep. And really good set of abilities. They're going to be forcing the ult out of Tizo just to get the kill off. And now it looks like QQV might also die for Tizo's kill there. So 2 kills going over. Skara taking a lot of his health bar. Actually taking all of his health bar. And they're just going to walk it down mid now. Hey, we got Shelly here. Let's take this tier 2. Let's take it down mid. 3 people dead. Let's go.
Yeah, why not the inhib too? We'll get that one as well. We don't even need Shelly for that one. So
yeah, we're just gonna keep walking it forward. You know what? Shelly could go there and they can push the way for us. It doesn't matter. We're rotating straight to Baron.
You know, I'm pretty surprised they didn't try to get more value out of Shelly there instead of opting to go straight to Baron. I suppose it makes sense, but I feel like they definitely could have gotten at least that inhib turret down as well, and then when contested Baron, just seeing as the amount of map control they have, especially in the topside jungle, there really isn't anything that GCC would have been able to do. But here we go, they have the Baron, they're all going to go ahead and reset here. Ornn now being able to upgrade items, he is now level 13. His own mythic has been upgraded, so now his team is going to be even stronger.
So one thing to consider about the Shelly play there is that PVCC uses Shelly to buy time where Gangplank can't move. If Gangplank moves, it's going to hit the turret, and that's going to be bad. That buys them a lot of time, as one of their only alive players isn't able to leave mid lane for a time being, so they're able to freely rotate onto the Baron. And if they had stayed with the Rift Herald, the Baron play might not have been possible, as the rest of GCC would have gotten back up, and Brand being back up and now having ultimate back up would have been able to wipe them in Baron. And Brand could be looking for it. Tizo in the middle of everyone, going to be caught out there. Gonna take a lot of damage and is going down. Horn is coming out. It looks like it's not gonna be able to quite find Wolfentech. Maman is going to keep chasing him down, and Alessandrite looking for blood in the bot lane.
Yeah, I noticed the Brand there just sort of proxy farming there with the minions with that tier 1 turret still up, and with PV at Dragon, I'm sort of surprised he wasn't alarmed enough to at least recall, but now we've got 2 members down here. The inhib will most likely be destroyed here with this Baron buff. These minions just chopping away at it, and the Graves as well, and the Ornn just hammering away at this inhib turret. That's going to be going down here soon. That's going to be a lot of pressure down the mid lane for PV here. It's going to give them a lot more options to go ahead and continue either split pushing or gaining some more ground here. And here they go with the inhib turret as well in the bottom.
Going straight into bot. Just going to go and see. Oh, almost took Skara out there really fast. All that damage, 11, 12 to its 6. Fiora going down to the Caitlyn. Looks like the damage is going to be coming through. Wolfentech might be going down. Graves dies. QQV is caught out, no teammates to help them, and it looks like it's all up to the brand to defend against the 4 members of PVCC, but PVCC is advancing on the base here. Can Scara make the play happen? Funny exhaust spell going to lock him down. Not able to find enough damage, and it looks like he is going to be able to get Alessandrite in the end. Looks like the dudes also might be going down. Nope, not quite going to have the damage from the turrets, and they're just going to push for the end, and it looks like that is it. GG.
And that last-ditch effort from GCC was in vain here. That is going to be the end of Game 2 and the end of this series here. That is going to be this game. I believe it's Week 4, you said? Week 4? Going in favor of Paradise Valley.
Yep. A really, really good game from both sides. That was some good adaptations on GCC side for the second game, but eventually, sometimes, you know, the chips fall where they do, and that's just how it is. Any end of game thoughts for you, Never Move?
Yeah, one thing I really want to say is that for sure, I mean, PV is just looking so strong right now. I mean, they've got the draft down, they've got these picks down. They're just so good at establishing that early game dominance that sort of snowballs them into the late game, and they've been ending a lot of these games so quickly. So kudos to them for just being such a strong team, and well played to GCC as well.
Well, GCC still are not giving up yet. They've been fighting tooth and nail with everyone, and that didn't change tonight, and I don't expect it to change at all for the rest of the season. So I am excited to see what both these teams are able to do. As I'm sure everyone here is excited to see where these teams go in the coming weeks. But for tonight, that's all we got for you folks. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. Drop a prime. You know what? Drop a prime if you got one. If you got a prime, why not? But thank you all for watching.
Well, real quick, I did want to make a quick correction. It's actually Week 3 and not Week 4. This is Week 3 of the preseason, not Week 4. So I did say it. Just wanted to correct it. Yep, that is what I was told.
It's Week 4 now because PVCC is playing their 3rd game and they had a bye week.
I suppose we'll have to look into it. All right, never mind. I guess I was right.
No, it's Week 4. All right, well, thank you for joining us for Week 4, or Week 3, or Week 5. Who's really keeping track of time at this point? Thank you all for watching. Have a good night. Peace.